French military chiefs are claiming that it is highly likely that the Islamist commander Abdulhamid Abou Zeid has been killed in fighting in Mali. Chad forces who are fighting alongside French troops have also claimed that the man responsible for an attack on a gas plant in Algeria in January, in which you'll remember an Irishman got caught up, that the man responsible for that attack, Belmokhtar, has also been killed. French-Algerian journalist and broadcaster Nabila Ramdani joins us now. Nabila, from your understanding, let's take Abou Zeid first. What are the probability that he is actually dead?
Well, we are hearing conflicting reports about the death of Abou Zeid. The head of France's Joint Chief of Staff has said that his death is highly probable, but until a body was found, it couldn't be confirmed, and this could take a while. While we're hearing from Al-Qaeda sources that his death has been confirmed, and at the same time, the president of Chad, Idriss Déby, has also confirmed his death. But there are unclear reports about who killed him. Al-Qaeda claims that he was killed in a French bombing raid in the northern Mali mountains, while the Chadian army claims that he was killed by its own soldiers. So very confusing picture here.
Before we get on to Belmokhtar, then, if it turns out that it was actually the French who killed Abou Zeid in a bombing raid, what is the consequences of that? Is it going to draw more jihadis to Mali? Is it going to up the ante there for the French?
Well, I think it would first and foremost be seen as a vindication of the French military intervention in what is essentially a former colony, but the French president has pledged to eradicate the threat of Islamic militancy in Africa. It would also come as a huge boost in the war on terror in that part of the world, but also a blow to the militants' leadership, as Abou Zeid was one of the most feared Al-Qaeda leaders in Africa. And dare I say, it would also be an illustration that the war on terror is increasingly won by air power, in this instance French air power, and drone attacks rather than boots on the ground. But the message that the French and indeed the West would want to put out is that it would be a victory for African armies fighting on the ground.
So you don't see any parallels here with what happened in Iraq? You think that this is a good news story, that you don't see for instance, what happened to the Americans when Zarqawi was killed, that if anything, that just radicalized more people and drew them to the Al-Qaeda flag?
Well, absolutely. I think, the war on terror is as much about media perception as it is about success on the ground. And the way it's being presented, in the media is as a victory. There's an awful lot of media, PR propaganda from all sides, including from the West, which is keen to show that the military venture in Mali was worthwhile if indeed top leaders of the Al-Qaeda organizations had been eradicated. But it's also bound to inspire young radicals who would see the death in action of a senior leader, of a senior commander in Al-Qaeda, as, it will create a martyr figure effectively, and would impress young people to fight against Western ideology, more globally speaking.
Moving on to the man whose name will be more familiar to an Irish audience because of his involvement with that attack on the gas plant in Algeria. What are the circumstances of Mokhtar Belmokhtar's believed death?
Well, again, we're hearing different reports. The French Admiral Guillot spoke to the French radio this morning, saying that we have to be extremely cautious about reports of his death. And again, they haven't confirmed, the French haven't confirmed his death yet, and they are saying that they will seek to carry out DNA tests on a body if indeed the body was found. Now, a jihadist activist denied reports of Belmokhtar's death as well, saying that he was alive and well, leading the battle against the enemy, and that he was operating around Gao, which is hundreds of kilometers south of where Chadian troops are engaged in operations. So this could be considered credible, as he has often been seen in Timbuktu or indeed Gao.
North African Islamist expert Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much.